So the next tonal shading technique that I'm going to show you is one which is called pointillism. I'm just going to use my pencil to write this title. Pointillism. Pointillism. Now how this one works is that you use dots. So for a dark tone, we're going to use lots and lots of dots, and they're going to overlap each other. The less white space you can see, the darker your tone is when using this technique. Now notice how slow I'm going with my pen as well. I'm using a fine liner pen. That's nice and controlled. When you start going a little bit hectic and really just sort of rushing, those dots, they're not dots anymore. You start to get what looks like lines in irregular shapes. We want to keep it nice and neat and just carefully place them dots. Now if we're using lots of dots and overlapping them for a dark tone, it would make sense that for a light tone, them dots are going to get further apart and you're going to use less of them. So more dots close together for a dark tone and less dots further apart for a light tone. So I'm just going to work on my section now. I'm going to start off at the top, and this is going to be really dark. There might be barely any white spaces visible. And I'm just going to be careful that I don't go over my title. So they're really nice and close together. This is a technique where you can get lots of detail in your drawings, but it is a time-consuming technique. So here I am with the dark tone, and I'm just making sure I'm getting rid of some of those white dots so that it's not light. Now we don't want any rapid stop-start, so we don't want it to then just suddenly go to light like that, and we can see that clear, definitive straight line between the two tones. It's got to gently move into the next tone. So I'm probably going to start spreading the dots out a little bit now. Now this technique, it's absolutely nothing to do with pressure. It's to do with how many dots you use and how much space you leave. So again, I'm going to start to leave more gaps as I come further down this section. And we can see it's gradually going from dark to medium. Now I want my medium to gradually go light. And every so often, just have a little stop and check to see if you can see any definite lines, and if you can, just try to break them up a little bit. try to blend them. Now for my really light tone, these dots are going to get really far apart, and I'm using barely any of them. And there we go. Maybe just a couple more here. And I'm quite happy with that gradient. So there we've got a tonal gradient using the shading technique of pointillism.